Gentlemen, welcome to my presentation of, I forget what the exact first title was, but how smart are you, I think it said, and then it said it's not, it doesn't matter how smart you are, what really matters is how you are smart. And Scott mentioned something before about IQ, and I said, no, not if it's Gardner, not if it's Gardner. Howard Gardner was, he's now retired, he just retired last year, was a cognitive psychologist at Harvard, and he's an author. He's written in hundreds of research articles, like 30 books. I have a couple of them along with me. And the theory that he is mainly known for is called multiple intelligences, or multiple intelligence. And I'm going to read this quote down below here. It's very hard to read. He said, "I want my children to understand the world, but not just because the world is fascinating and the human mind is curious. I want them to understand it so that they will be positioned to make it a better place. Knowledge is not the same as morality, but we need to understand if we are to avoid past mistakes and move in productive directions. An important part of that understanding is knowing who we are and what we can do." And one thing that I'm going to kind of mention is that I think a lot of people, and sometime I can explain to you folks why this really applies to me, a lot of people think they're not very smart. You know, their older sister was smarter, or their cousin was brilliant, you know, somebody was a musician and, you know, just couldn't get over how smart. It doesn't matter. And I think that, I was saying coming down here, I think what people need to realize is that things can be fun. You know, things that you do that you just say, well, I enjoy doing that. You know, I enjoy swimming. I enjoy making collages. You know, anything that you might say you enjoy. That is not just an enjoyment. That is an actual form of cognitive activity when you are doing those things. And so anyhow, so Gardner was well, he's not at the university anymore. He was a Harvard professor in the School of Education, and he is best known for this theory of multiple intelligences. And the book that he wrote, this is not, I mean, this is a paperback version of it. Howard Gardner, oh wait, this is Multiple Intelligences. The one that he wrote is called Frames of Mind. And I think it's very hard to find nowadays. His view of intelligence is, well, let's see, he viewed intelligence as the capacity to solve problems or to fashion products that are valued in one or more cultural settings. He did a lot of global research and study. He reviewed the literature using 8 criteria or signs of the intelligence. Potential, isolation, okay, blah, blah. I was reading something else. His work, he worked a lot with very young children, like preschool children, and he worked with people who had brain damage. And in order to find out if one part of the brain had been damaged, some other part of the brain could, almost like a muscle thing, you know, it may not have been used as much. I'm putting this in my own words, you know, I'm not sure if he would agree, but I think that's the theory, is that you have an entire brain, okay? So, I don't know if this moved accidentally, but here we are at the next one. You absolutely cannot see any of these, but I will come up here closer. He actually started out with 7 intelligences. And they were verbal linguistic, logical mathematical, visual spatial, musical and rhythmic, bodily kinesthetic, and then, what is this one? Understanding of yourself. Oh, intrapersonal, and then interpersonal. intelligence. And I'll explain a lot more of these. The naturalist is the one that he developed quite a while after the first 7. And the one that is still, I'm not sure if he's even still offering it as one of his intelligence, is the existentialist. So, let me see. Okay, it's not how smart you are, it is how you are smart. First song.
Some people
You have the
learn
lyrics.
best when they so long. Some people learn best when they talk. Some people learn better in big groups. And some learn the best when they walk. We're
Supposed to
smart.
sing?
We're
Smart.
You can sing, of course.
Yeah, are we supposed to sing too?
You can sing.
We're
Smart. We're smart.
all kinds of
People are smart. Are smart.
Some people can learn best by
Music. Some people learn best by art. Some people learn best by numbers. But all kinds of people are smart. We're smart. We're smart. All kinds of people are smart. We're smart. We're smart. All kinds of people are smart.
Okay. Now, the back of that has the next one when we get to it. Okay, so let me see. Hopefully, good. All right, this gets a little bit at what I was talking about with the brain damage. I mean, it's not intended to be used as that, but I think this conveys the idea that if there's some problem with some part of the brain, you got a whole bunch of other brain cells that will contribute to what it is that you want to do and learn and your way of relating to life. So I thought this was sort of a clever little thing. Let's go now to, oops. Okay, hard-working brain. I have been working with Doug in the physical therapy department, and I have vertigo, and I was in the hospital with it about a month or so ago because it was so severe. Somebody came from here, they had to pick me up at a dentist's office. Anyhow, I'm working with him on this vertigo thing, and he doesn't have me doing exercises or, I mean, he does a little bit, but some of what he does is all just visual. He'll have me looking here and looking here and looking here, and I'm with him for 15, 20 minutes, and all of a sudden I'll say, you know, I'm really getting kind of tired. And he said, yeah, that will happen. That will happen. It doesn't have to be a physical exercise to be tiring. So your brain works pretty hard all the time, okay? These are let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, these were the 8, the musical, bodily kinesthetic, and obviously the pictures give you an idea of what they refer to. Introspective, those of you that really would just as soon be alone and have downtime, you know. Interpersonal, after you're all fired up from your downtime, maybe you are also very interested in working in a group and learning and contributing that way. Linguistic, I think that might be me, kind of. I kind of like words. And a lot of different things related to words. Logical, mathematical. I have a friend who is a mathematician, and he just kind of he gets distraught over me. I can't do it. He'll be showing me something, some kind of formula or something, and I go, don't get it at all. And then the naturalist, you know, anybody, I think, is it Doug? No, Ray, I think, who does work out in the garden, and any of you who work in the garden, you know, or work on your plants in your rooms, you know. There's a lot of different things, and we'll get into this. People who love animals, you know, people who love being with animals and all of that. Okay, so let's see. All right. Okay. Supposed to go. There, okay. 8 multiple intelligences. The theory of multiple intelligences assumes that people have different levels of 8, and then now I think it's 9-ish types of intelligence. Every individual has at least one intelligence that is the strongest. And some believe teaching those strengths can help people to be more successful. The 8 multiple intelligences include the following types. I just want to mention something before I go on. When I was talking about Howard Gardner, and they want to know why he was important, Gardner did a lot of work. A lot of his work was related to learning, ergo related to schools and teaching and learning. And so he was, for 10, going on 15 years, he was just considered a guru in schools with what the types of materials that he would, not just he, but that publishers would put out related to his theory. So a whole variety of materials. You go into one of these teaching, businesses, where you got all the teaching supplies, and they would have all the different workbooks and things, and many of them would have to do with Gardner. He fell out of favor somewhat because there were those who said that he did not do enough. I guess it was theoretically he didn't do enough research, or it was not thoroughly researched. But I think the guys. Oh, one thing that I didn't mention. I mentioned he was a professor at Harvard, and he received the MacArthur Fellowship, which is sometimes called the Genius Award. And I looked that up today, and I think when he got it, at this point in time, if somebody gets it, they get like $625,000 over a period of 5 years with no strings attached. They don't have to produce anything. They don't, they don't have to do research. They don't have to write a book. I mean, obviously, those may come in those 5 years, but it is pure and simple. And they do not give them to people for lifetime achievement. They give them to someone who is sort of starting out on something to help them develop whatever theory or project or materials that they are working on. So, okay, the 8 multiple intelligences include the following types of people. Come on. Let me stand here and see if this does any better. Oh, Scott, where are you when I need you? I may have to sit down there.
You need to point it at.
Yeah. It's wireless, so I shouldn't have to point it. Did it? There it goes. Okay, there we go. All right. Verbal, linguistic, often well-spoken, effective debaters. And that's something that I think we should think about for here at East Castle. I think we should have debates. I think that would be an interesting group activity. They write well, create newscasts and podcasts. Those of you who contribute to the newsletter, our friend Jake over here, and I'll have you all know, I believe I'm going to have something in on Friday, just so you can keep your eyes open. I had a letter to the editor in the journal back about 3 weeks ago. Okay, so math, logical. Logical thinkers enjoy solving puzzles, deductive thinking, financial planning, and computer codes. Okay, so some of these are for fun, some of them are their jobs. There we go. Spatial picture. They often think in pictures. They do well with art and spatial puzzles, map making, architecture. I don't know if this quite applies, but my sister, when I was talking before about those who think that their sisters were brilliant, my sister was brilliant. She had a master's in human relations. She was an attorney. She had a master's in international law. She was and she was very artistic. So it's just, but she used to say we'd be doing something or we'd be getting a table ready for, you know, Christmas dinner or something, and she'd get a smile and she'd say, "This is how I pictured it," you know. And so she enjoyed, and she had that in her mind. Other times we would do something and she'd say, "This isn't how I pictured it." So anyhow, there we go. Musical. Enjoys singing, playing musical instruments, recognizes patterns and tones and structures and rhythms. I'm going to mention ahead of time, musical, this is something, and this about patterns and tones and rhythm, also applies to like the verbal linguistic, to poets, you know, who have that sense of how, the melody, the music of a poem. Bodily or body kinesthetic, love motion, are often very physical individuals and sometimes gifted athletes. Interpersonal, they work well cooperatively, thrive on building friendships, relationships, alliances, campaigns. Intrapersonal, aware of their own motives, have high levels of self-awareness and emotional intelligence. They know how they feel. And knowing that, it's easier for them to relate to other people and to go ahead with what they want to do. Naturalists have an understanding or an interest in earth sciences, gardening, orienteering, and nature walks. I'll talk more about the orienteering. Some of you may know about that. Carla, I don't know, are you familiar with that term? Carla?
I'm sorry.
Are you familiar with orienteering?
Yes.
Okay. I was not. I'll explain later. Okay, and the last one we have here, I think this is actually 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes. Existential. The ability to use shared values and intuition to understand others. It's not just understanding them, it's sort of knowing their motives and where they are coming from. And the world around them, to understand others and the world around them. Okay, so let us proceed to word smart, verbal linguistic. I think that all of these different things, poetry, history, ethics, and that little guy, I liked him, he kind of reminds me of me standing up here. He's a little bit unsure what he's doing, but he's willing to get up there, as am I. And then there's the little writer in the center, the power of writing. And the little got books is kind of like the little neighborhood libraries, whatever they call them, lending libraries or whatever. So let us get our music ready. Language lover.
I like stories.
It's on the back of the first one.
I like writing poems and notes.
Here we're smart, and on the back.
For me, I do well in spelling bees, but one thing my parents hate is how I negotiate. Oprah Winfrey, E.B. White, she can talk and he can write. She asks questions thoughtfully. She's more verbal than is he. He, however, writes so well. Through his written words he tells. I spend much time reading books. Sometimes reading helps me cook. My vocabulary's fine. I'll talk anywhere or time. My friends make me stop and pause if I overuse my jaws. I've not been so good in school. I don't like the no-talk rule. In class I bent my friend's ear. Then teacher said my career
activities that favor the type of intelligence where people with high verbal linguistic intelligences are often well spoken. And they write well. The following activities favor this type of intelligence. Mr. Douglas, I was just using you as an example of somebody who understands that brains are hard-working things.
They are hard-working things.
I said how you make me get tired. Yeah. So this is my dear friend Doug. Okay, these are some of the things, and here's where the have a debate. These are where some of the things that I was talking about that I think would be interesting. Storytelling and narration. I don't know if we have any actual storytelling where we have someone just reading stories. I know when I was teaching, there were those who said if you have a problem class that you absolutely cannot control, just drop everything and read a story. And you ultimately, you will get that class. I tried it a little bit. It sort of worked. It certainly quiets them down. Okay. Create a television or radio newscast, writing stories, create a newspaper or newsletter, play vocabulary games, create a classroom podcast. All right, here we go. Logic smart, mathematical and logical. Only for geniuses. This is where my friend, the math teacher, would get distraught of me. We'd get down to the end of this and he'd say, okay, Meryl, what will 9 will equal what? And it's like, I haven't a clue. You know, he was a mathematician, I was not. I love math. And there you can see all the little things. Tic-tac-toe, very much of a mathematical, you know, configuration. Let's see, what else is in there? So all the different signs. And then, of course, our friend Mr. Spock. We all recognize Mr. Spock, the logic personified. And up here, we have a complete guide to women's logic. The condensed version. The condensed version. Yeah. So, oh, and it says, oh, I like this quote. It's by, I believe it is by, yes, my friend Albert Einstein. It says, logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. So he was a brilliant guy. Okay, and here we have the little thing that says we have a song.
I've got a whole bunch of collections. I love to solve problems with math. Experiments help me to test things. There's not much that I can't abstract. One morning I woke very early and mixed chemicals in a glass. But they kind of stunk up the kitchen. Our house smelled like dead sneaker gas. Mathematics, science, and logic are on my mind. My friends tell me that I think like Albert Einstein. I tend to be quite analytic when fixing computery quirks. I like solving all kinds of puzzles and knowing how everything works. I've always liked playing with digits. On math, you can say I am hooked. I'm learning about negative numbers. Now I understand our checkbook. Mathematics, science, and logic are on my mind. My friends tell me
I'll do that.
I think
I'll do
my
that. Don't quit.
Albert Einstein.
Don't quit, you're doing great.
I don't know if that,
You're doing great.
look for us and we'll let you in. Thank you.
Good, how are you?
Okay, so, all right, let's see, where are we here? Okay, so, very appropriate that there would be a quote by Einstein then. Okay, so, after the logical mathematical, whoops, okay, activities that that type of individual might feel comfortable with. People have smart math, logical intelligence, logical thinkers who enjoy solving problems. They work well with this type of intelligence, including the following. Solving mysteries. Just out of curiosity, how many of you read mysteries or watch? Yeah, there's some mathematics going on there. You know, this relates to that. It's not just math, but it's a whole analysis thing. Predicting outcomes based on circumstances. That's what happens when they solve the crime. Let's see, using toys and images for sequencing games, where you have to show the right order. Real young kids, that's where they would do something, you know. Hide puzzles, write secret messages, computer code. I guess they're equating computer code with secret messages. Doing financial planning for an imaginary business or a real live checkbook. Solving numbers or logic puzzles. Let's see. Good. Okay, picture smart, visual and spatial. We've got cooking verbs, a little chart that shows the picture that goes along with the verbs. Architects with designing buildings and houses and rooms and everything. Up here, just the knowing that this flag represents the United States. So flags are highly symbolic, and they show the relationship to another thing. In this case, down here, Brazil. And then over here, we've got Australia, which has the combination of the Jolly Roger, I think they call it, on the Australia flag. So anyhow, a lot of different things. This mind mapping is interesting. I didn't really do a lot of this when I was in school, but a lot of people, they'll start with an idea, and then whatever idea comes off of that, they have a little thing over here, and then each idea has some sub-ideas. The one with the sentence diagrams, when I was in grade school, they taught us how to diagram sentences, and I loved it. I don't know if I loved it then, but in retrospect, I love it. And when I was in college, I was taking a class in, I think it was writing for elementary school teachers. And I raised my hand, I asked a lot of questions, and I raised my hand and I asked the professor, I said, are they still teaching diagramming in schools? And you would have thought I had asked him if puppies fly. You know, it was like, and I think he said, no, they don't. I don't know if he said yes or no, I was just so surprised by his reaction, you know. I think it's a very good way to learn grammar, you know, words relate to words in a sentence. I loved it. And then my very favorite, up there with the chess, multi-generational, cross-generational. And when I was teaching, I actually got a grant to set up a chess club at our school, and I loved it. Worked with, I had kids in first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, learning and playing chess, going to championships, going to competitions, and I think some of them may still be doing it. So, all right, here we go. We've got the little speaker there in the center, which means that we have a song.
I'm a good eye for detail, 'cause I'm smart, spatial. I like building things and I like to take them apart. But one day my mother told me and my brother that we need to find and put back her car's missing parts, like the chess, Bobby Fischer,
yourself.
Or you can depend on others to help.
Thank you.
I'm a good.
Okay, so picture smart, visual, spatial. People with high spatial intelligence often think in pictures. They do well with art activities and spatial puzzles. Activities to highlight spatial intelligence include the following. Activities, obviously, such as painting and Play-Doh, map reading, map making. How many of you are, when you're with someone who's driving, act as the navigator with the map? Yeah, I think a lot of people, you know, that's their skill. They get used to it, and they know left from right on the map. Okay, diagramming sentences, keeping a bullet journal, cross-generational chess matches, play a Pictionary-style game. That was popular a while ago. Pack items into a suitcase or box so they fit exactly. Well, I make it fit. I just make it fit in the suitcase. Use mind maps instead of traditional note-taking. I do a little of both. So, we're on to music, which I think is great fun. I have been taking piano lessons for about 5 years. And I started by auditing a class at the university because I'm a senior citizen. And the thing I think that made me continue it, I took it from 2 semesters from one teacher. The thing that really made me want to continue is that she continually emphasized she wanted it to be fun. And these were all college students or older, you know, like myself. And she meant it, you know, and so it was not frightening to me that a lot of the people in the class actually had a lot more musical experience than I did. But one of the things that I never thought I'd be able to do was to read music. To look at a thing and say, okay, that's C, there it is, I can find that on the keyboard. Oh, it's the other C, you know. And so I just love it. I had always wanted to play piano. All right, and I just think the piano keyboard up there, colorful, I just think it's pretty. And then we've got an octet in the corner down there doing their thing. And then we have a solo artist. I'm not even going to try and read what that has to do down at the bottom. I don't even know if it fits, I just thought it was cute. So let's see now what the music sounds like.
I love to bum and drum and sing and dance and rap. Sometimes my foot won't stop when it begins to tap. And I like playing around with sound. I hear a beat and I boogie down. Oh, I hear that beat and I'm gonna boogie down. I have a sensitivity to pitch and tone. I like composing tunes on our push button phone. And since I have this composing skill, my dad became our huge phone bill. After that, I learned how to play the saxophone. One time my parents took me to a symphony. The orchestra performed some stuff by Stravinsky. The rhythmic patterns played on the drums sent me into a tempo tantrum, but my parents took me home before I was done. I love to hum and drum and sing and dance and rap. Sometimes my foot won't stop when it begins to tap. And I like playing around with sound. I hear a beat and I boogie down. Oh, I hear that beat and I've got a boogie down.
All right, cute little bird singing in the center there. All right. People who have strong musical intelligence are good at thinking in patterns. I mentioned that before about the poetry. Rhythms and sounds, they have a strong appreciation for music and are often good at musical composition and performance. If you're strong in musical intelligence, good career choices and activities might involve singing and playing musical instruments, obviously, rich understanding of musical structure, rhythm, and notes, play name that tune games, sing in the showers, sing while driving, writing their own songs and music about content-based. This was, as I say, for students, school age. So writing songs about the, you know, whatever it might be, the movement going west, you know, in the United States, something like that. Regularly read poetry. I am trying to teach myself how to read poetry. I am not good at it. My brother has read poetry all of his life. I don't know where that comes in. I guess with the rhythm and patterns. I've got to learn. I think it's good. Go to concerts or musicals, recognize musical patterns and tones easily. Okay, body smart, bodily kinesthetic. These are all fairly self-evident. This is interesting. The one with the sign language. I worked with a woman whose husband, while I was working with her, husband went deaf. He had to have surgery, and the surgery was essential. He would have died if he hadn't had it, but it also completely destroyed his hearing. So and she was actually more proficient with the sign language than he ever was. And they had a little girl who I think also learned. So obviously that's a body smart thing. The little tools, knowing how to use tools, and to take things apart and put them together. And then we've got the folk dancing, which I love, and the yoga. And up there, I don't know if that's supposed to be varying levels of exercise, but I'm going to pretend that's Baryshnikov, because I like him and I like to say his name. So body smart, bodily kinesthetic, and we have some more music.
Using your body and your mind as when you handle tools. It's a folky dance, stitch up holy pence, mind and body, you're one instead of two. Babe Ruth and Jesse Owen too used all their might and mind. They could blast a bow and just out hustle all as their hands, feet, and mind work like a crew. Ready to work on motor skills, I laced up my new skates and triple jump with class. Landed with a splash, skating's not fun where ice fishing's been done. I joined a drama club at school, learned how to pantomime. My teacher was in fact struck by my voiceless act and how I kept my mouth shut all that time.
Okay. Body smart, bodily kinesthetic. Learners love motion. They are often very physical individuals and sometimes gifted athletes. Activities for kinesthetic learners include dramatic reenactments of historical or literary events. I think some people I know I have a nephew who used to get involved with Civil War reenactments, yeah. Use charades to act out parts of speech, designed and milled an architectural model out of materials like popsicle sticks and toothpicks, tell a story or practice vocabulary words with yoga poses attached to them. I don't quite get that. I don't do yoga. Using different body parts to measure objects. I mean, how many of you have, how many of you walk 10 steps forward so you know how far you are from the wall or whatever. Learn folk dance. Use Lego bricks for math lessons, such as different sized bricks for fractions. Make up finger plates. Okay. Kindergarten teachers, that's what they do. All right, here we go. People smart, interpersonal. I will read the little thing up here by Mark Twain. It says, when you hire people that are smarter than you are, you prove you are smarter than they are.
Amen.
I love that.
That's good.
I just love that. I think that is powerful. Okay, so these are different types of things. I have, for a long time, I've been wanting to write something comparing the teamwork that is done with a symphony orchestra with the teamwork that is done with a professional, in my case, football team.
Yeah.
I think that it's amazing that, I mean, you have different parts in the orchestra. You know, you have the violins, you have the woodwinds, you have this, you have that. And you have the composer, you have the conductor, you have the concertmaster. You know, in football, you've got the coach, you've got the defensive, whatever they are, and to show you when I started this, I wanted to do it with Brett Favre. I thought, but I didn't get a chance to talk with Brett. But I just think it'd be very interesting. People smart. Anybody who's ever had to hire somebody, you have to know a lot about what you need and what they have to offer if you're going to hire them. Politics, obviously, I won't go there. I don't like that. But I love the little rainbow hug up in the corner there. I think that's really cute. Very cute. Okay, we didn't do this music yet. We're getting towards the end of our music things. Okay, here we go. People person,
In
kids.
first grade, I moved over 50 towns away, so I quickly made new friends, about a dozen every day. I am interpersonal, cause I like people, they like me. I think socially. In my neighborhood, kids got into a fight, and I sensitively saw how they both thought they were right. So I sat them down on common ground and helped them to relate. I can mediate. Once our teacher gave us a project we could do, so I organized some kids to become a learning crew, and all 6 of us could not agree upon some groovy rules with 6 points of view. Well, before too long we were arguing a lot. One boy called a girl a brat, she called him a little snot. I could see that it was going to take all of my social skill to make my group chill. Right away I said, why don't all of us come down and let everybody share with no interrupting sounds. As we listen we can learn from everybody's point of view. We can make it through. As he spoke, I wrote what was said by everyone. We began to realize some agreeing had begun. Pretty soon all of our energy was used productively. We stopped arguing. Well, by now it's clear I'm a people person kid, but I've got a people problem and it's getting way too big. Cause for my next birthday party, Mom said just 5 friends could come. I have 91.
All right. Okay. So let's go on. Nope. All right. People smart. Learners work well cooperatively and thrive on building friendships and relationships. Activities to teach interpersonal learners include conducting interviews, team building exercises, participating in orchestra or choir, create a group travel agenda, role-playing historical, see we just had that actually in the previous slide, previous intelligent. Cooperative, I stopped there, role-playing historical or literary situations, cooperative or team video games, mock political campaigns, or just political campaigns, they're all mock, anyhow, board or card games that involve creating alliances. All right, here we go. Smart self, self-smart, intrapersonal. I love these little things. It's all about me. I'm so awesome. I'm jealous of myself. I think that's cute. And then my book, About Me, by me, myself, Dr. Seuss, and whoever me is. Okay, and then here we have just different, I'm not sure if I just put this in because I thought it was cool. I like doing things that are visual. We learn 90% of what we learn by teaching others. 75% by practicing it, 50% by discussing it, 30% by demonstration, 20% by listening to audio-visual stuff, 10% by reading, and that doesn't leave much for lectures. So, and then I love the Gandhi autobiography. Can't think of many people that would be better to learn about himself, what he thought of himself. The benefits of meditation. Okay, I can't read those from here, but you'll get the idea. So we've got, oh here it goes.
I'm aware of my own feelings. I'm in touch with the mush. I wake myself often. It's one way of talking.
Intouchable.
Untouchable, yeah.
Diary. I know what things I am good at, where I'm strong,
of my mind. Okay. Self-smart, intrapersonal. Very aware of their own motivations. They have high level of self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Intrapersonal activities include the following: writing essays from which historical or literary figures they would want to be. Participate in character creation games. I'm not sure what that is. I'll have to find that out. Take a personality test. How many of you are familiar with the Myers-Briggs test? It's fascinating. It's fascinating. I did that when I was in the Peace Corps, and they had all of the trainees that came in my group and their language teachers take the test, and it was interesting. My language teacher and I don't know how the scores went, but if I went out, he went that way. If I went in, he went that way. It was like a mirror image or whatever that would be. Very interesting. If you ever get a chance, even just to discuss it, it's a interesting. It's not a test. It's more of a evaluation or survey. Keep a journal. Rewrite a story from your point of view. Meditation sessions. Write an autobiography. Share how they'd be different if they were from another culture. I think there's probably a place for that in our world these days. Okay, here we go. Naturalist. Here's the orienteering. Naturalist. I don't know how many of you are familiar with orienteering. You ever heard of that?
I've heard of it.
Okay, I was not. I lived in Finland for a year. I taught in Finland, and it was big there. They love the outdoors. They're really big outdoor people. And one of the semesters in their physical education program each year was, I don't know if it was a whole semester or a period, 9 weeks or something, on orienteering. And basically you're outside, it's like a road rally. You know, you use the map to get where you're going, and you use, you know, the different natural, the surrounding terrain to help you get where you're going. Community gardens are spreading across the USA. We've got our own garden right out here in the center of the courtyard. I think this is really cute with the birds and the cats and the dogs and the mice. Some people might do a chart using different kinds of flowers, you know, the red flowers and the green or the pink flowers. And then up here it says, think like a botanist, which I thought was kind of cool. All right, here we go. When a bird comes out.
Oh, when a bird comes hatching out. Oh, when a bird comes hatching out. It's mom and dad won't leave, they'll stay by until the bird can fly about. A mama bird or papa bird will feed its young till they get strong. And then it's time for them to take off. It's time for them to say so long. When younger birds must leave the nest. When younger birds must leave the nest. They have to try to fly each day down. They've got a pair of wings to test. Geronimo, away they go. Good thing bird bones don't weigh them down. With hollow bones it isn't easy for gravity to pull them down. Oh, when a bird begins to fly. Oh, when a bird begins to fly, it will stay warm in rainy weather. Its oily feathers keep it dry.
All right. So, here we go. Whoops. Nature lovers who often have an excellent understanding of or interest in earth scientists. They categorize species in the natural world, go on nature walks, go orienteering. Host a community nature cleanup event. Collect items from nature, research projects featuring plants or animals. Plant and maintain a community garden, we saw that. Owning and caring for pets. Very important. I volunteer when they're open at the Humane Society. And they had a workshop one time while I was still teaching. And basically, it was for, I don't know, 4th, 5th grade, teachers of 4th and 5th grade, somewhere around in there, the lower grades. And basically what it was, the class, the workshop was combining humane education with character education to convey to kids the way they treat animals, the way they respond to animals, carries over into the ways they treat people.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, so that was very interesting. Okay, let's see, what's next here? Don't have any music for this one. Life Smart, Existential Pictures. Little book over here is Heaven is for Real. I can't read the little thing underneath there. And then the little rosy path leading up, who knows where it's leading. And then the title over here is The Truth About Hell. And then whatever you would picture that next to it as being, rather ominous looking place. I wouldn't want to visit there very often. And then little Snoopy down here in the corner, his existential crisis. Where am I going? What am I doing? What is the meaning of life? And then in the center, the origin of evil and the source of good. Then how many planets are in the universe? So these are things that not everybody spends a lot of time pondering, but it would be worth pondering perhaps. Existential learners possess sensitivity and the capacity to tackle deep questions about human existence, such as the meaning of life, why do we die, and how did we get here? Then the different activities, why am I here? Why are we here? Are there really ghosts? Why are some people evil? Where is heaven? Can animals understand us? Or do animals go to heaven? Where do we go when we die? Is there life on other planets? Does God exist? Do devils exist? So, this is just the finale. We have one more musical thing on our list there. The pictures are sort of self-evident, and Ways to Learn is our last song thing, if I can get it. Yep.
All the 8 ways that we learn to think and grow are in you and me and everybody, so am I not a passing grade? We can learn in any ways. There is more to me that I should get to know. In a verbal or linguistic sort of way, we can read or write or talk away the day. We tell stories, riddles, jokes, or write essays, poems, or notes in a verbal or linguistic sort of way. With a logical, mathematical approach, we could calculate the weight of any boat. We solve problems, puzzles, codes. There's no number overload when we smartly use a logical approach. In a visual or a spatial sort of way, we know how to draw, create, or act in plays. And clear images in mind help us make 3D designs in a visual or a spatial sort of way. In a musical or rhythmic kind of way, we can learn to sing, hum, chant, and rap or sway. We can hear the different tones on our pushy button phones in a musical or rhythmic kind of way. When you smartly put to use your body parts, when you're acting, dancing, doing martial arts, when you're drilling with a drill, you join mind and body skill when you smartly put to use your body parts. Now your naturalist intelligence is for when you go outside and learn how to explore. When you sort and classify flowers, fish, or pesky flies, when you making observations out of doors. Interpersonal intelligence is cool, 'cause it's used to make friends in and out of school. When you make friends easily and show sensitivity, you are socially so smart and people cool. Intrapersonal or introspectively, you are all alone and like your company. You're aware of your own thoughts and imagine things a lot, and you learn about you in your diary. All the 8 ways that we learn to think and grow are in you and me and everybody, so MI's not a passing phrase. We can learn in many ways. There is more to me that I should get to know.
All right.
You know, the lyrics to these songs are really great.
Aren't they fun?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure what to do with this. It'd be worth if you could hang in there while I try and figure this out. Wait, I'm gonna start it over. Okay. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Now if I can figure out how to turn it off.